Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with podcast number 90. We're 10 away from 100. I never thought we'd get to that 100. But man, I've got a great show today. I've asked Mark Podolsky, who is a land guy, to come in and talk to me about buying raw land and how to sell it and how to make massive amounts of passive income. Yes, I said that. Massive amounts of passive income. Welcome to the show, Mark. Tell me about yourself.
So I've been buying and selling raw land full time since 2001. And before that, I was a very unhappy investment banker. And
Wait.
Yeah.
An unhappy investment banker?
Very unhappy.
Is that like an oxymoron or something?
No. I mean, I was doing mergers and acquisitions with private equity groups, and I had no control. No control, Michael. Miserable.
So you had the big J.O.B. then, huh?
I had the big J.O.B. And we hired this guy, and he's telling me he's going to these tax deed auctions. He's buying up raw land, pennies on the dollar, and he's flipping them online, and he's making over 300% returns. So I don't believe him. I'm from Missouri. I'm from the Show Me State. So I go to these tax deed auctions with him. I've got like $3,000, saved up, car repairs. Go to New Mexico. I buy 10, half-acre parcels, $300 each. And I don't know what I'm doing at all. And sure enough, I flip them online, $1,200. And all day long, 300%. It was crazy. So I tell my wife, I'm like, look, I think I'm onto something here. Because, Michael, I'm looking at companies all day long, and a great company had 15% EBIT margins or free cash flow. The average company is at 10%. Lots of companies below 10%. This guy's doing 300%. So I go home, I said, look, I think I'm onto something, and I want to quit my job. She's like, absolutely not. So I said, okay, fine. So
I asked the right person or the wrong person.
I did land part-time for 18 months before the land income exceeded my investment banking job income. And I've been doing it full-time ever since. And I love it. And that's why the podcast is called the Best Passive Income Model Podcast. We discussed this.
Say that one more time.
The Best Passive Income Model Podcast.
There you go.
Because I think nothing beats buying an asset that you don't have to deal with a renter or tenant, repairs or toilets, and no renovations, right? No rodents. It's a one-time sale, and then you get recurring income from owner financing. I've got no costs of foreclosure because we use land contracts. So it's what I call migraine-free real estate investing.
So you said it took you 18 months.
18 months.
And then you went in full time.
Full time.
How did you?
If that's for me, I'm not here.
How did you determine it was time? What was the significant factor that said, okay, now's the time?
The significant factor was just pure unadulterated misery. 45-minute commute to work and back, being micromanaged. I mean, I was ready after just that first land auction. I went to a second land auction and I killed it on that one. I mean, it was amazing. And so it was really just the point. You know what? And if I had to say, like, what really gave me the courage to do it, and I know this is going to sound cliche, I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but no one's asked me the question. I think I'd read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Michael.
So you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And
I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I said, I'm buying assets. I'm going to continue to buy assets. I know how to do this. And the income is exceeded my investment banking job income. There's no reason for me to stay in this.
Okay, I guess that's where I'm headed. At what point did it do it? Did it exceed your unhappy investment banker income?
At about 12 months.
So at 12 months, you exceeded your annual. So then at 18 months, did it exceed it again, or were you just saying, hey, I can at least match my income?
Yeah, no, I mean, it went for a ride because, you got to remember from 2001 to about 2006, you didn't have to be very smart at all to make money in real estate. So, at around 2003 to 2006, I mean, literally millions of dollars was flowing in from land sales. And so it really just took off.
Okay. So tell me about, so here I am, I'm a brand new seasoned or seasoned investor, and I want to do this. How do I do this? What's the first thing I need to know?
The first thing you need to know is you got to know due diligence, I think. You got to know just the language of deeds and ingress and egress, just property, will it perk, water tables, soil. I mean, just some basic land due diligence first, just so you're not buying something that could be a problem, right?
Right.
I think that helps right there. And that's going to help you sleep at night. And then the second thing I think you have to understand is how we buy these properties pennies on the dollar. And it's really simple because they're advertising to us they don't want their property anymore.
Right. They're going to it, I'm assuming, a tax deed auction, or they're behind in their taxes.
Correct.
So it's not just that they don't want it, it's become a nuisance to them.
Exactly. So
it's
it's no
a reminder that they're failing.
Right, exactly. It's a liability to them if we solve that problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you started, you had at least this guy who could help you understand the due diligence.
No, I had, he helped me a little bit. A little bit, but I really had to make lots of mistakes. And, unfortunately, there wasn't anybody like me helping. So
when I think of percolating, I think of coffee. I don't think of like water and land.
Right.
So where would a guy or gal go if they say, man, I want to get 300% return? Where would they go to find out what percolating water means and tables and all this other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I started just reading a lot and calling people that knew more than me. I would call like a local surveyor and start asking them about the land. I would call planning and zoning. I would call local realtors. I would just start interviewing people and gathering information. And pretty soon I realized, here's a template. It's the same thing in every county in every area.
Gotcha.
Right? This is what you need to know, A, B, C, D, and E. And so, I spent a lot of time on it and kind of figuring it out instead of, having just a mentor kind of say, this is what you need to know.
So like my first deal that I did, I wrote a bad check to buy the property. I didn't realize they were going to cash my deposit check. It didn't say we're going to go cash it. It just said deposit. I thought hold on to it, like clip it to a piece of paper or something. But no, they wanted actually a deposit. Did you ever make anything or do anything like that? What was your worst mistake in the beginning?
Oh my gosh. I think the worst mistake in the beginning was not understanding deal structure, which is kind of funny considering I had an investment banking background. But I went after a subdivision in eastern Pennsylvania. And Michael, this is 2005, I think. And this place was overdeveloped. They had 1,000 parcels at the county. I negotiated for maybe, 26 months with the Property Owners Association and the county and the attorneys. And I was saying, look, I know how to sell land, right? And this is free money for you. If you just give me the parcel, I don't have to pay for the parcel, right? Just give me the parcel. I'll sell it. You have a new taxpayer on the county rolls. the property owners association will have a new person paying the properties off, so they can go ahead and improve their subdivision. And the way I was penciling this out, I mean, I was going to like literally make millions and millions of dollars, right?
Uh-huh.
They wanted $50 a lot, so I said, great. And I just wrote a check and bought them all. Well, if I knew then,
Wait. You bought all 1,000 of them?
Yeah.
Okay. At $50 a piece.
Right. So I thought, oh, this is great. And, I made $100,000 on that deal instead of, say, $5 to $10 million because I didn't understand the market and I didn't test it first. And I didn't mitigate my risk by doing a takedown deal. There was no reason for me to take down all 1,000. I could have taken down 10.
You could have optioned the rest.
I could option the, which I should have done. So I didn't understand how to do that because I didn't have somebody, helping me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't make those mistakes now, Michael.
We all have the brag story. Like when someone says, what's the most amount of money you made? And I say, well, $2.50 kind of stuff. What's the most amount of money you made from a transaction for the least amount of investment?
Well,
and you have to have had an investment. So let's not talk about options and you made a killing.
Yeah. I mean, I bought 30 sections of land at an average price of maybe $60-$70 an acre.
Okay.
And sold them, and sold them at about an average price, I would say $500 an acre.
And how many acres to a section?
640.
Yep. So you
It was a pretty good payday.
How long did that take?
That took, I want to say 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, sell it all off. Because we subdivided the sections into 40-acre parcels.
Cool.
It was a great deal.
And do you do this throughout the United States, or are you limiting yourself to certain?
I like certain states. So I like Florida, and that's pretty much on the East Coast. And I ignore the rest of the East Coast. And then I like Texas, Arizona, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, Oregon, Utah. I kind of like the Sunshine States and Florida and a few places in the Northwest. I want to buy a land there where people in the rest of the country will think, oh, that would be a cool place to have land, right? Nobody's waking up in the middle of the night saying, Nebraska land, I want to own all of it.
Except for the Nebraskans.
Well, that's it, and except for the Nebraskans. So you limit your buyer pool.
Right.
You're right.
What's an average day look like, or an average week for a land buyer?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about the M&Ms. It's mailing and marketing.
Okay.
So if you stick to those two activities, you're going to do really, really well. If you start using your energies to kind of play in the business a little bit and set up a pretty website, or think about your LLC, or I don't know what other people do, but
prepare to be in business instead of just be in business.
Yeah. They want to do the fun things of the business. Right. Maybe think about business cards, brochures. None of those things make you any money. Right. The things that make you money are making lowball offers and buying land.
Great. Which I hate that word, by the way. I want you to know. Second time I've had to tell you, and the reason I hate it is because we never make lowball offers. We just make offers that fit our business model.
Yeah, you know what? And I think I like your nomenclature a lot more than mine. I think the reason I say it is because I get so many nasty calls every day from people saying, I got your offer and I'm insulted.
Right. And you know what? People ask us a lot, what do you just make lowball offers? And we say, no, we make top dollar offers.
Yeah.
Because that's the top dollar equates to the most amount of money that I will spend on your property. And I have yet to buy a piece of property from a seller who did not agree to the sales price. So if I was a baseball player, I'd be batting 1,000. I'd be paid a lot of money if I was a baseball player. So you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, no, I'm not going to make you a lowball offer. I'm going to make you a top dollar offer that other people like yourself have agreed to. You'd consider yourself normal, wouldn't you? And of course, everybody says yes to that.
Yeah. Michael, I'm recording all this, by the way.
So
yeah,
it is what it is. And I think if we let people know that we're not there to mistreat them, we're actually going to take some pain away. Because I don't know how many times a seller has hugged you and cried on your shoulder after you agreed to buy their property.
You know what? You know what? Because I don't meet with them personally. I don't get that, but I do get lots of thank yous.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of gratitude that comes my way for that.
Which makes the opposite of the gratitude worth listening to. Inevitably they're our prospect. If we're prospecting to them, we don't want to get into an argument match with someone.
Right.
And everybody's kicked the cat. I mean, I've woken up. I'm not sure if you've ever woken up in the bad mood and everything was going wrong that day, and you thought everybody else was the idiot, and turned out that yourself was the idiot. And we all have those bad days. And if we don't allow the person to be able to call us back, they won't. So we have to be cordial and pleasant, so we can and allow them to call us back.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. 100% actually, because it's funny how much personal growth equates to business.
Right.
And being in that frame of mind that this isn't personal for them. I mean, you shouldn't take it personally if they're having that kind of day, right. And you don't need to add to that energy.
Right. And you can tell the person that's just Mr. or Mrs. Grumpy. I mean, that's just who they are. Well,
right.
I learned a long time ago, all you have to do is mimic Mr. and Mrs. Grumpy, and grumpy people like associating with other grumpy people. It's how they learn to be grumpy in the first place. And so when you start mimicking them as a grumpy person, you're their best friend all of a sudden. Now you can negotiate. But anyway, different story, different topic.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I think that's an interesting approach. I'm going to try that because I'm not naturally grumpy. Well, so I don't even know how to kind of mimic it in a way.
Yeah, and it
feels so uncomfortable to me. But I think you're right. I think if I tried it, it would go well.
Right. Well, the moment I realized there was some truth to that is, I noticed the child in the grocery cart hitting mom, and mom hollering at the child, and nothing was getting accomplished, but they were communicating. They were absolutely communicating. Right. And I looked at that as saying, no, they weren't communicating, but for those two people, they were communicating. And so then I tried it on a grumpy, and they love it. So
so it went well. I mean, yeah, exactly, because when we're buying property, it's not like when I sell property. That's a relationship, right. But when I'm buying property, yeah, absolutely, there's nothing to lose in being a grumpy. And building that rapport as a grumpy. I think I'm going to try it.
And you're right. When you sell something, because you're taking a performance contract as the instrument to sell, you have to be kind of nice because you have a long-term relationship. Tell me about the sell side.
So the sell side is a lot of fun as far as the marketing aspect of it, because there's so many great channels out there now where you have this massive market of people that want to buy this land. I mean, you've got Facebook groups, and you've got actual websites devoted to it. You've got landwatch.com, landandfarm.com, landflip.com, landhub.com. And, it's really kind of be creative. And then you've got Craigslist. People sell on Craigslist all the time. You've got eBay. So you've got all these kind of cool, very inexpensive marketing channels now that people who were doing this, let's say, even 15 years ago, didn't have. And you even have your own list. You can, for almost nothing, you can set up your own little squeeze page and just start building a buyer's list. I had a student of mine, he sold a piece of property in 4 days to his buyer's list, and the buyer's list was less than 100 people, and he made $21,000 in 4 days on a land flip.
Wow.
It was crazy.
And he didn't need to know anything about rehabbing. He didn't have to have a list of contractors to call. He didn't need an agent or a lender.
No.
So he didn't need any of those traditional real estate investor tools that we have out there.
Correct.
And that sounds pretty cool. Now, students, what is a student to you?
So I do land coaching. I'm the Land Geek, right?
Aren't you? Wait a second. You cannot coach what you do because people will start doing what you do and take your opportunity away.
Is that what people tell you?
No, but isn't that isn't that the fear of, well, why would you help someone succeed? Because what they're going to do is take your wealth from you?
Yeah, no. I mean, look, it's an abundant world. I think anyone who's had any amount of success kind of drops that fear and understands there's just so much out there for everybody.
Right.
And I've never had a situation where, I've sent out offers and someone's, called or emailed me back and said, I have 5 others just like this, or 3 others just like this. It's never, since 2001, it's never happened.
Right.
You can go on HGTV and see, flip this house. You don't see flip this land. It's a non-competitive niche. But even for people who are flipping homes, Michael, do you feel that way?
No,
do you feel
I don't. See, I have this strange abundance and prosperity mentality. I don't use the word competition, because if someone is doing what I'm doing, someone would say that's a competitor of yours. I'd say no, they're a benchmark of mine. They're either where I have been or where I'm going to be, and either one of those are okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So
and I couldn't agree more.
So I don't worry about what they're doing. I can only worry and affect what I'm doing. And if they're more successful, great. That means if I follow what they've been doing, then I can be as successful or more successful. And I can help them be as successful as I am as well. So if they're on the lower bench. So either way is fine with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do I become a student and make 300% return and get rid of my J.O.B?
Yeah, so I think the best way to do that is to just start educating yourself and, go to thelandgeek.com, and we have a passive income blueprint that kind of spells out the entire model. And then we have an ebook that's also free, the 3 fatal land buying mistakes. And then you get our podcast each week that's devoted to, these types of topics, success, abundance, different real estate niches, and learning how to buy and sell raw land, called the Best Passive Income Model Podcast. And Michael Quarles was a recent guest.
So,
although your podcast hasn't come out yet,
I had fun, by the way. I enjoy people, like-minded people, and that's what's cool about the abundance mentality. Like-minded doesn't mean real estate investors only. It means people that believe in success, and you can have prosperity and good things happen.
Yeah, I don't think I broke through in business until my mindset of abundance changed.
Right.
Because I think I didn't understand that benchmark idea when I first started, because I was coming from such a competitive background in investment banking. And for maybe a year or 2, maybe even 3, I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. I was so scared, right? That, oh my gosh, if I start telling everyone what I'm doing, it's going to, I won't be able to buy another piece of land.
No.
And, but once I started doing it, my business really took off, because, now people are starting to bring me deals. We're doing deals together. And there's like this
when you release
the wisdom of land intelligence just grows exponentially.
Right. And then worrying about a fear-based thought really can keep someone down.
Yeah.
I'd rather worry about being successful and than worrying about being unsuccessful, or fear someone else is going to take something that I should have had, because you can't lose what you don't have.
Yeah, ultimately, I don't want to fear anything.
No.
I just want to do my best every day and let the cards fall where they may, and just go to bed modeling that for my kids. Like, I'm doing my best.
For me personally, and it's my type A attitude or personality flaw, coupled with my need to do for those folks that can't do for themselves. that causes me to always be driven to do better today than I did yesterday. Because I have enough money. I mean, I won't spend it all. But there's someone out there that doesn't. And so I always look at myself and I try to push myself further so I can do more things for people that could use the help. And so I think that's always kind of cool. So that drives me. So I'm always looking to do more. Now you said a student would go if they want to learn more. They would go to a website, and I think it was Land, and then
Geek.
Then Geek.
Right, thelandgeek.com.
And there's several things for free that they can download and learn more about the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about, is it similar or the same or different than like some of the land tax programs that they advertise in late night when you have insomnia or?
Like John Beck?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he got in trouble though, but so those aren't on anymore. But I mean it's different because it's we want that property before it goes to tax deed auction. Gotcha. And we're not buying tax liens. Tax liens is a whole other thing as well. Right. And tax lien investing is great for people that want a more passive model. Mm-hmm. You can make 16 to 40% in some states, but I'd rather make 300% to 1,000%. Sure. So
you're just buying it straight from a seller, just like I'm buying a house straight from a seller.
Exactly. And
you're giving them a price that causes you to have a gain. In most cases, you're giving them a value that causes them to say yes.
Right.
Taking their pain away, making their life better. You're then, because you're smart enough to have figured out where your buyers are and what they look like, you're finding your buyers, and then you're being even a little bit more smarter than most of us, in that you're not releasing you're keeping it as passive income, which is, I think, brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you need the cash, right, you can always sell off a portion of the note, or you can sell the note,
right, and
do that. So money's really, you don't even need much money in land at all. I mean, I think I started with $3,000. One of my buddies started with $800, and it grew to multi-million net worth.
Cool. How much marketing do you do?
A lot. It's all about marketing. It's all about mailing and marketing.
Well, if there's,
if we're not marketing, we're not selling.
I hope that's one thing that anybody that listens to a podcast hears from anybody who's on the podcast. It's all about marketing. You cannot be in business unless you market, unless you have dollars or some way to put your message out. And you said you do mail as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Tons of direct mail.
Is it postcards? Are they type letters? Are they?
Yeah, it's interesting. We split test a lot of it and see what will perform better. I think the best response rate is when we have our VAs hand write the envelope and put a stamp on it.
Right. Okay.
Those do really, really well.
I enjoyed having you here. And again, how do people find you?
www.thelandgeek.com.
Anything else you want to share?
No, Michael, I mean, I have to tell you, you are like the real estate Buddha for me. And I just want to thank you for...
Well, I'm the size of Buddha, by the way. I don't know if you've seen a picture of me, but now you've just described me.
No, but I'm going to Samsung all the stuff you've been teaching me today on the podcast, because it works. It works.
It absolutely does. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you. Can I ask you back?
Michael, I'll come back anytime. Anytime. This is fantastic.
Very good.
I really appreciate it.
And if anybody forgets how to get a hold of him, all you have to do is call support or email support, and we'll send you Mark's contact information, his website information. So it's one step away. And look at land. It's incredible. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.